Hello children. We have a lot of incidents happening in our life. It can be happy incidents or sometimes it makes us sad also. When we are too excited or too sad about an incident, we become tensed. This is because the controlling center of our body becomes overactive in these situations. Which is the controlling center of our body? The nervous system. We have discussed about nervous system last chapter. Nervous system becomes overactive when we have extreme emotions, and that is the reason why our body becomes tensed. In this chapter, chapter 10, we are going to study about nervous system, which is the controlling center of our body. Nervous system is made up of brain, spinal cord and nerves. Which are the three parts? Brain, spinal cord and nerves. These three parts work together to control the whole body of human beings. Whatever things go on in our body, that is controlled by these three parts. Let us study about each part. First, we can take the case of the controlling center, that is the brain. Brain is the center of our body where the whole controlling power is present. Whatever things go on in our body, that is controlled by our brain. An adult human brain weighs about 1.4 kilogram. How much? 1.4 kilogram, and it has millions of tiny cells. There is a space, a small space between the brain and the protective cover of the brain. Which is the protective cover of the brain? You have studied in last chapter. What is it? Skull. A bony skull. Inside that you have the brain, and just as you pack something inside a cardboard box or like that, there is a space between the skull, that is the outer covering, and the brain. This space and the space inside the brain is filled with a clear fluid. The name of that fluid is Cerebrospinal Fluid. That is not there in your textbook. I just told you for your information. Cerebrospinal Fluid is a clear fluid present between the brain and the skull and the inside of the brain. This has a specific function. It protects your brain from jerks and injuries. That is why when you hit your brain or your head somewhere, it won't affect your brain easily. Only if it is such a huge damage to your brain that will cause or affect the brain. But normal hitting of your head will not injure your brain because there is a fluid which helps to protect it from the jerks and injuries. So these are the basic things about the controlling center of our body, that is the brain. So brain is the controlling center. Adult human brain weighs about 1.4 kilogram. It is protected by a hard bony skull, and there is a cerebrospinal fluid which protects the brain. Now we can learn about the different parts of a brain. The brain is not functioning as a whole. It has different parts, and each part is controlling so and so tasks going on in our body. Just as we are in an office, different sections are there to handle the things that come under that office, isn't it? Or in your school you have teachers for different subjects. Altogether it's called a school, but there are different teachers to teach you. Like that, the brain controls the body, but that controlling power is given to different parts of the brain. So let us take a look at the different parts of the brain. The three parts of human brain are cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. Once again, cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. Don't get confused. Cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. Okay. First we can take the case of cerebrum. Cerebrum is the largest part of brain. You can see here the largest part is cerebrum. It is a dome-shaped part, dome-shaped. Okay, dome-shaped part with ridges and grooves. Many folding-like structures. You can see it is not very pretty to see, isn't it? Different foldings, ridges and grooves are present in the brain. Okay, it controls your sense organs. Your eyes, nose, ears, tongue, everything is controlled by the cerebrum of your brain. It controls your voice also. Sometimes we scream, sometimes we talk very softly, isn't it? These are all controlled by which part of your brain? Cerebrum. It is the center of intelligence. So, intelligent people, they make use of their cerebrum more. It helps you to learn things, remember things and recall things. One more thing, it helps you to think also. So people who think more, they are making use of which part of the brain? Cerebrum. So as children, you make use of which part of the brain? Your cerebrum, because it helps you to learn, remember and recall things. In this age, you are learning, you are remembering and you are recalling the learned things. So that is done with the help of cerebrum. So in a growing stage, we are maximum using which part of the brain? Cerebrum. I'll tell once again, cerebrum is the largest part, dome-shaped part with ridges and grooves. It controls your sense organs, your voice, the ability to learn, think, remember and recall, and cerebrum is called the center of intelligence. As it is dealing with thinking, learning and all, it is called the center of intelligence. I hope it is clear from the picture, the shape of cerebrum. Okay. Next part is cerebellum. Cerebellum lies below cerebrum. This also has a particular function. We know that cerebrum controls all the things related to learning process, whereas cerebellum coordinates the actions of muscles. Only thinking is not only necessary for your body. You need to move your body also according to your thoughts, isn't it? So movement and coordination of muscles is done by the cerebellum, which lies below cerebrum. You can see cerebellum here. This part is the cerebellum. Okay. Then this part helps to maintain a balance of your body. Cerebellum helps you to keep a balance of your body and maintain a good posture, that is very essential for having proper appearance. That is done with the help of cerebellum. As I told you, cerebellum helps you to keep the balance of your body. If it is not functioning properly, your movements becomes jerky. They will not be proper. Okay. So cerebellum lies below cerebrum. It coordinates the actions of muscles and helps in the movement of the body parts. It helps to keep balance and maintain a good posture. If cerebellum is not working, what happens? Your movements become jerky. Okay. So cerebrum controls all learning activities. Cerebellum controls all movement activities, posture, appearance and all. Third, there is a small part which is called the medulla. You can see a bulb-shaped part here. It is called medulla. It is beneath cerebellum. Okay? Beneath cerebellum, you have bulb-shaped medulla. It connects brain to the spinal cord. We learned that brain, spinal cord and nerves are the three parts of nervous system. We are learning first about brain, isn't it? That brain is connected to the next part of the nervous system with the help of medulla. Which is the next part of the nervous system? Spinal cord. As we learned in the skeletal system, skull, rib cage, backbone and all, they are all connected, isn't it? That is because it is a single human body. Same way, In case of nervous system, brain, spinal cord and nerves are connected. So, brain is connected to the spinal cord with the help of what? The medulla. It controls all the involuntary action. We learned about involuntary muscles last chapter, isn't it? Involuntary muscles are muscles which are not under our control, like beating of heart, then eye muscles and all. So, involuntary actions means the actions which are not controlled by us, like breathing, digestion, then flowing of blood, heart beating and all are not controlled by us. These actions are controlled by which part? The medulla. So, as this medulla controls all the involuntary actions in our body, this medulla remains active or working even when we are sleeping. Because even when we are sleeping, our heart beats, our blood flows, our food is digested, all these processes happens even when we are sleeping. So, if this process, these are all involuntary process, if this has to happen, who should be working, who should be controlling these parts? The medulla. So, medulla remains active every time. So, these are the three parts of, the second part of the nervous system. The first part of the nervous system, that is brain. Brain contains cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. Okay. Now next, which part did I told next? Spinal cord. This brain is connected to the spinal cord. You have already learned about spinal cord in last chapter. Spinal cord starts from the base of the brain, this portion, base of the brain to the lower end of the backbone. Okay, it is kept safe inside a vertebral column or spine. You have learned last chapter. It is a delicate portion kept safely inside the spine. Okay, this connects the rest of the body to the brain. That means all the portions except the neck and head. Neck and head, the nerves are directly connected to the brain. Okay, all the remaining parts are connected. You can see different nerves going, isn't it? All the different parts are connected to the spinal cord. Spinal cord only sends messages to the brain. Okay, I'll tell you who are responsible for sending messages and all. So, all the parts send messages to the spinal cord and from there it is transferred to the brain. Okay, so it connects the different parts to the brain. That is also a function of spinal cord. Okay, so this is the second part of nervous system. And the third one is nerves. Nerves are the carriers of messages. Nerves are thread-like structures, just thin strands of threads, but these thin strands are made of bundles of fibers. Just like we learned about, you have seen copper wires, isn't it? Copper wires, the electric wires. There is a plastic coating inside that you can see several copper wires, thin copper wires. Just like that, the electric wire can be called a nerve. Inside that you can see copper wires. That can be called fibers. So, just like that, thin fibers are combined to make a thread-like structure called nerve. It is used for carrying messages. Messages can be carried between brain and other parts. Some messages are carried to the spinal cord carry messages to the brain. Some are directly carried to the brain. These message carrying is all done by the nerves, just like a postman. Okay, he carries the messages to different houses like that. That work is done by nerves in our body. There is no mobile phones and all for each part of our body to send SMS, isn't it? That is done by whom? The nerves. Okay. Now there are three types of nerves depending upon the function they do or the type of messages they carry. Sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerves. Sensory nerves, you can get the clear idea of sensory nerves. How is it? Sensory nerves carry messages from sense organs to brain. Okay. Suppose you see something with your eyes. From this eyes, the sensory nerves carry message to your brain that you have seen something. and brain interprets it and decides what it is, and that is transferred to your different parts. Okay. So, all the sense organs, from the sense organs, the messages are carried to the brain. If you see something, if you hear a voice, if you smell something, if you touch something, if you taste something, all these things are carried to the brain to identify that what is it. It is done by the sensory nerves. Suppose you see something, your eyes can't identify things, isn't it? That is transferred to the brain, and brain identifies what it is and it sends messages back. But it happens in within a fraction of a second. That is why you think that decisions are, you are identifying things using your eyes, or you are identifying the taste using your tongue. No, it is from the brain that you receive message, what is that thing. Okay, so these messages from sense organs are carried to the brain with the help of sensory nerves. Second one is motor nerves. If you see something, if you taste something and all, suppose you are seeing a snake, the message is passed by sensory nerves from the eyes to your brain, and brain interprets it is a snake and you have to run back. If you have to run back, your legs should move, isn't it? So if your legs should move, a message should be sent to the muscles and bones that the person has seen a snake, you have to run back. That orders are carried to the muscles or glands with the help of motor nerves. Okay, whatever is interpreted by the brain, the actions are done by muscles or glands, and that is done by carrying messages by the motor nerves from the brain to the parts. Okay, that can be called orders, or brain is the controlling center, so it can be orders of the brain. Okay, these orders are carried from brain to different parts, that is muscles or glands, with the help of motor nerves. And the third one is mixed. What is it? It can carry messages to the brain as well as it carry orders from the brain to the different parts also. Both actions are done by the same type of nerves. These are particularly for a specific function, but mixed nerves can carry messages from the brain or to the brain. Okay, so these are the three types of nerves present in human body which helps in sending messages. So just let us recall what we have studied today, isn't it? A very, new things you are learning. So you have to recall what you have studied. Which part are you using when you are recalling what you have studied? Your cerebrum. Okay. So I'll just start from the beginning again. Brain is the controlling center. First, let us talk about nervous system. It contains brain, spinal cord and nerves, which helps to control the whole body. Brain is the controlling center of the body. An adult human brain weighs about 1.4 kilogram and has millions of tiny cells. Brain is protected by a bony structure called skull. There is a gap between the skull and the brain. That space and the space inside the brain is filled with cerebrospinal fluid, which protects it from jerks and injuries. Okay, there are three parts for the brain: cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla. Cerebrum is the largest part, dome shaped with ridges and grooves. It controls the sense organs, it controls your voice, it controls, it is a center of intelligence. It helps you to think, learn, recall and remember things that you have learned. Okay, second one is cerebellum. It is below the cerebrum. It coordinates the actions of muscles and helps to move properly, maintains balance. It helps to keep a good posture also. If it is not working properly, you will have jerky movements. Okay. And third one is medulla, which is bulb shaped, which connects the brain to the spinal cord, and all the involuntary actions are controlled by medulla, so it is active even when we are sleeping. Three parts of brain. This brain is connected to the spinal cord. Spinal cord is a thick cord like structure, starts from the base of the brain to the lower end of the backbone. It is kept inside a tough backbone or spine. All the other parts are connected to the brain with the help of spinal cord. And the last part of nervous system is nerves. Nerves are thread-like structures which is made up of bundles of fibers. It carries messages from brain to other parts of the body. There are three types of nerves: sensory, motor and mixed nerves. So sensory nerves carry messages from sense organs to the brain. motor nerves carry orders from the brain to different parts of the different muscles and glands, and mixed nerves carry messages to the brain and carry orders from the brain. Okay, I know that it is a bit new thing, but it is interesting if you learn by understanding. Okay, so learn, read your textbook 3 or 4 times so that the idea of this nervous system is clear for you. Very important and very interesting also. So you can just look the pictures and identify the different parts and study so that it becomes interesting. So read and read your textbook, children. Make it more thorough. Thank you.